Hi friends, I have another wonderful book to share with you today. It's called The Day You Begin. You know, we all kind of think of ourselves as very similar, that we all share these similar experiences, but our worlds and our stories are all very different. Your story is different than my story. We have people in our class who have lived in different states and people who've even lived in different countries. We have people's families who have always lived in Washington State or maybe even in Linwood. And then we have people who've moved from all over the world to be here. We have people whose parents started out living in a different country and came here, and people whose parents grew up right in Linwood, Washington. So we all have these different stories. And another part of our story is sometimes the way that people see us and people perceive us, and they make opinions about us based on the way we look. And so sometimes it can feel really scary to go into a new situation because you're worried about the way that people will see you or will think about you. But when we talk about that in class, we know that that's ridiculous. People are people, and we should all be treated with the same kindness and the same understanding as everybody else. But because those strange things happen to us, sometimes we feel a little bit funny sharing those stories because we think, oh, they won't understand what that's like because they don't look like me, or they don't think like me, or they don't have the same hair as me, or the same skin color, or they're older or younger or fatter or thinner, or any of those things. But all of those stories are important to see or to hear because it's important that we understand other people's experiences in our world. So this story, The Day You Begin, is kind of talking about that a little bit, about our different experiences in the world. I love the illustrations in this story. They're so bright and cheerful because our differences are what make the world interesting, in my opinion. If we were all exactly the same, that'd be a pretty boring place to live. For Sia, Nell, and Josie, and Santiago, Moon Whisperer. So this is from Nancy Paulson Books, an imprint of Penguin Random House. And it was copyrighted in 2018. So, and it's illustrated by Rafael Lopez, written by Jacqueline Woodson. There will be times when you walk in a room and no one there is quite like you. Maybe it will be your skin, your clothes, or the curl of your hair. There will be times when no one understands the way words curl from your mouth, the beautiful language of the country you left behind. My name is Rigoberto. We just moved here from Venezuela. And because they don't understand, the classroom will fill with laughter until the teacher quiets everyone. Rigoberto from Venezuela. Your teacher says so soft and beautifully that your name and homeland sound like flowers blooming, the first bright notes of a song. Isn't that pretty? That picture, all those colors. And I love that they said that it sounds like flowers blooming, the first bright notes of a song. There will be times when the words don't come. Your own voice, once huge, now smaller, when the teacher asks, "What did you do last summer? Tell the class your story." "We went to France," Shayla says. "These shells came from a beach in Maine." A boy named Jonathan holds out a jar filled with tiny shells so fragile they look like they'll turn to dust in your own untraveled hands. "My whole family went to India, Spain, South Carolina. Each souvenir a small triumph of a journey. Their travels go on and on." Sounds like the birds are trying to tell us their story right now. And as you stand in front of that room, you can all remember how the heat waved as it lifted off the curb, and you spent your days at home, caring for your little sister who made you laugh out loud and hugged you hard at nap time. You can only remember the books you kept on reading long after she had fallen to sleep. And in that room where no one else is quite like you, you'll look down at your own empty hands and wonder, what good is this when other students were flying and sailing and going somewhere? I know we've had experiences like that in our own classroom, where people say, I didn't do anything. But when she didn't do anything, she did important things. She took care of her sister, she was reading, she was laughing and loving. Those things are doing something. Very important things. There will be times when the lunch your mother packed for you is too strange or unfamiliar for others to love as you do. When even your own friend Nadia will wrinkle her nose and say, what's in there anyway? And you'll wonder how she doesn't see the rice beneath the meat and kimchi. You'll wonder why she doesn't remember that rice is the most popular food in the world. Isn't it funny how sometimes the things we eat can be embarrassing, even though we love it? There will be times when the climbing bars are too high, the run is too fast and far, the game isn't one you can ever really play. I don't want him on our team. You can watch. Maybe you can have a turn later. Well, that doesn't feel good, does it? There will be times when the world feels like a place that you're standing all the way outside of. And all that stands beside you is your own brave self, steady as steel and ready, even though you don't know yet what you are ready for. This is what he looks like on the outside, but that's how he feels on the inside. I love to read. That's what I like to do. There will be times when you walk into a room and no one there is quite like you until the day you begin to share your stories. My name is Angelina, and I spent my whole summer with my sister. You tell the class, your voice stronger than it was a minute ago, reading books and telling stories, and even though we were right on our block, it was like we got to go everywhere. Oh, I love that. Because her story is her experience, and her story is just as important. Oh, come on, why can't I turn this page? Your name is like my sister's, Rigoberto says. Her name is Angelina too. And all at once, in the room where no one else is quite like you, the world opens up a little wider to make some space for you. Sharing our stories about ourselves is so important. And listening to other people's stories is also important. This is the day you begin to find the places inside your laughter and your lunches, your books, your travel, and your stories, where every new friend has something a little like you and something else so fabulously not quite like you at all. Love that. I love that. You know what that reminds me of? The forest down in our playground area. All the leaves are. Where we played hide and seek this year. The day you began. Your stories are important. Your experiences are important. And sharing them is important too. When you share them, other people see you. I love you, and thank you for listening to the story and all the noises of the crazy birds and animals in my backyard. Have a wonderful day, friends.